In section 4.2, we're going to talk about exponential growth and decay. So we have our function that we talked about yesterday, y equals a times b to the x power is going to be our format for any exponential function. And remember that a is our starting value or our initial amount, and then b is our growth, okay? So as we talked about also yesterday, if our b value or our rate is greater than 1, our function is going to be growing or increasing. And if our b value is between 0 and 1, so like 1/2 is when we saw a lot yesterday, we're going to be decreasing. And that's going to be kind of what we focus on today. So in example number 1, you put $200 into a savings account. This account earns 2.3% interest each year. So I want to create a function to represent the amount of money y earned after x years. So using my function, I'm starting with 200, and then I'm going to grow by 2.3%. So I might initially think, okay, I'm going to put 2.3 in, but that's not what we want to do. Instead, how we're going to show that 2.3% growth, again, we're going to start with our 200. Since I'm growing, I'm going to have 1, and then I'm going to add 2.3%. And another important thing to note here, 2.3%, if I want to represent it as a decimal, I'm going to move the decimal point back 2 places. So I have 1 plus 0.023. So my growth rate is 1.023, and that's what's going to be my b value. So my function would be y equals 200 times 1.023 to the x power. So if I'm growing, I'm going to do 1 plus my percent growth. In our next example, I'm going to be depreciating in value, so I'm going to be decreasing. So in example number 3, you have an old iPhone worth $200. It depreciates in value by 2.3% each year. We're going to create an equation that represents the phone's value, y, after x years. So still using our equation, I'm going to start with that 200, but since I'm depreciating in value, or it's obviously going to be worth less over time, I'm going to be subtracting that 2.3%. So I'm going to be subtracting 0.023, which comes out to 0.977. So that would be my function. Y equals 200 times 0.977 to the x power.